Welcome to Simply Walk the Talk. Our bodies and minds adapt to what we do most of the time. If you want to change your body and mind, you must change what it is you do most of the time. This podcast explores all things health, wellness, fitness, lifestyle, and biohacking. Stay tuned as we explore various thoughts, methods, and experiences from a multitude of conversations between our interesting guests and experts through many fields of work. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Simply walk the talk. Simply walk the talk.
I'm here with Josh Holland, and man, I have to give some props to Let's Do Podcast, Yovel, the producer here. He made this happen like a few hours ago.
It was really awesome the way he came up to me, and I'm like, I have to do this. I'll move mountains to come and do this. So yeah, thanks, Yovel.
And we are kind of moving mountains. We're right at the base of the Rocky Mountains. Welcome to Boulder. Have you been here before?
I've been here in Boulder once before.
Okay. What's your impression? Because arguably this is the nicest time of the year.
Absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. And on the walk here, I was thinking to myself, how can I find a way to spend more time here?
Mm-hmm.
You know?
That seems to be a common theme for people that are visiting. And I love hosting the podcast here because we're getting an amazing like Boulder badass that are locals. And now you're coming in from where?
New York.
The city?
Yeah, New York City. I live in Harlem, based in Harlem.
All right.
And it's kind of funny because I say to people, I get my mail in Harlem, right? Because I'm traveling all the time. So I'm somewhat nomadic, but I live in one of the most expensive cities in the world, and I'm very rarely there.
Okay, well, since we have so much in common, I'm just so excited to unravel this synchronicity. You're rocking the Vivo. I've been nomadic quite a bit as well. I've actually been to all 50 states and 20 plus countries until I moved to Boulder. Now I am nomadic to like the creek.
Okay.
The creek life here. I stay right here in Boulder.
How long have you been here?
2019.
Okay. All right.
I have taken a few trips, and most of my family's in Georgia, but I think this is one of the greatest home bases in the world in this podcast studio. And the supplement company, I brought some gifts for you.
Oh, this is for me?
Yep. That's our newest product right there. That is just pure bison testicles, freeze-dried raw.
Primal Seed.
Yes.
Primal Seed. All right. That could mean many things.
Yeah. That's kind of like a little rocket in your pocket. So if you're out one night and you want to have a little boost, you can just take that. And that's the best moisturizer on earth. That's the white chocolate bison tallow balm from Tribe Vitamins.
So I've not tried this specific one, but what I have on my body and in my hair as we speak is a very interesting tallow. So whipped tallow with methylene blue and GHK copper peptide.
Tell me about the GHK copper peptide and methylene blue for the skin.
Yeah.
All right, let's start there.
Yeah. So, the copper peptide is one of those things that people can use for a whole host of things, but tissue regeneration. But I like to use it for the hair. So, like, if anyone tends to have graying hair, and they don't want that.
I've had that since I've been 18. My youngest brother might have more. When I was younger, I had people asking me if I was dyeing my hair, and I'm like, dyeing my hair? I'm like, no. They're like, oh, we thought you might have been dyeing it gray.
Interesting.
Like, as it was a cool thing. So, anyways, all right, tell me more. I'm listening.
No, so it's one of those things where, like, I like to. I don't have to worry about gray hairs or anything like that, but I like incorporating a variety of things. So in my field, in health optimization and biohacking, I'm known as the guy that stacks the hacks, right?
Nice.
And so if we can put like a nice copper peptide in a supplement that is really good for the skin, that's because a lot of people neglect the fact that our scalp is a part of our skin, right? It is the skin, the organ of our skin. So if you want to have better, youthful looking hair and skin, do as much as you can to get things like methylene blue. Tallow is amazing, like you pointed out. I'm really interested in trying this because this is white chocolate, and I would imagine.
Take a whiff.
Okay, thank you.
It's Yovel's favorite. I used a little bit on the way here. It was a brand new jar, but I used
Where'd
a
you
little
put
bit
it?
all over my face, body. I wanted to have that little tallow
Ooh,
glow
that's
and to
nice.
smell like ice cream.
Yeah, one of the things there was a company I had worked with. I don't remember the name. Otherwise, well, I probably wouldn't shout them out anyway. But there was a company because I get a lot of companies reaching out to me to say, "Hey, we'd love for you to vet our product or to do some content or whatever." And they sent me. I do remember the name now, but I'll save it. They sent me a bunch of products, and one of their tallow products I was excited to use until I opened it, and I was like, "Oh hell no!" Like this, it smelled like tallow. I mean, it's like fine if you own that and whatever, but like if I'm
Mhm.
trying to be out and about and if I'm at home by myself, no problem. I would have used it.
Mhm.
But then if I'm out and about, it smells like I have like cooking grease on my skin.
It's one of the most common things we hear that is a complaint from customers that used to other tallows from other companies until they used ours. Because when I go to the pickleball court, for instance, and I start sweating, people are asking who brought the donuts, and I'm like, "You're smelling me sweat."
That's amazing.
And I've heard that a lot about like partners. Like, man, my girlfriend loves how I smell with this. And yeah, so basically, that's just the bison kidney fat from 100% grass-fed, grass-finished bison, the suet, which
Yeah.
is the most stable. The tallow that comes from like trim fat, which might be what some companies are using, will tend to smell more,
There you
and
go.
potentially if it's not coming from a quality animal. But yeah, those are the best animals, best kidney fat, and then we enhance it with organic emu oil,
Yep, love it.
and then organic steam distilled cacao and vanilla.
But that's amazing. Well done. And trust me, I will be using this. In fact, right before we came here, I think Yovel was there to see. I'm here because I'm very close with the Home Hope organization, which
Yeah.
is the nonprofit that sort of houses all things transcriptions and everything else, right?
Shout out to previous interview with Boomer because he basically introduced me to this yesterday.
Oh,
But
okay.
please go ahead. Now,
Yeah.
that's for people that are hearing about it for the first time.
For sure. Yeah, Boomer is the homie. And basically, like I got brought in to help them host the conference that they have right now. So this is their third annual conference, and I got brought in to speak and talk about foot health with Vivo Barefoot. And then I've been doing movement snacks, as in, you've got a bunch of people sitting down listening to lectures, which they've got some amazing speakers like Dr. Chris Shade just spoke today, and Dr. Jill, I forget her last name, Carnahan, I think is her last name. And I found myself right before I came here sweating, but I know what that's from. It's from one, I had the lights on me and I'm moving and doing things on stage, but no one else really in there knew that I'm sweating from the tallow that I have on me. But it's great. It's great because I think people need to understand that sweat is a natural process, and I think it helps to show the health of our skin, the health of our biology when we sweat.
Well, if you had more time, it sounds like you got a pretty busy schedule. So thanks for making time for this. I was going to
Course.
invite you to the sauna, the Ember and Ice that our local friends run at the creek, because that's quite the experience. Maybe if you have time after the conference or something.
Okay.
It's wood fired, beautiful mountain views right next to the creek. That's coming probably like mid 40s right now.
Dope.
Yeah.
I love that. I mean, I've got this. I love that. That's the kind of the natural side of it. But then, I live in New York City. I live in Harlem. Got a small apartment, but I've got all these tools in my apartment.
Okay.
Right. Not the wood fire.
Yeah.
Not the creek. Right. But I've got a cold plunge. I've got a sauna. So I appreciate being able to kind of go in between the sort of primitive ancestral wisdom side of things and marry that up and match that up with the modern technology side of things. Hence why I'm wearing I knew I was going to be in front of lights, so I've got the blue blocking lenses on and blah, blah, blah.
Which brand is that? I've interviewed a few people that.
Raw Optics.
Oh yeah, with Matt.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've interviewed
Matt
Matt for
Maruca.
the podcast. Like when I first moved to Colorado, that might be
Really?
2020 or 2019.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah,
Yeah.
He was on my podcast as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what's the name of your podcast?
It's called Simply Walk the Talk.
Simply Walk the Talk.
Yeah.
And I'm going to ask you about that, but tell me the name of that copper peptide real quick.
GHKCU.
GHKCU, because before we you said walk the talk. Simply walk the talk. I love that. I also have a customer and a friend that is concerned about going bald. Does that peptide help with that?
It can.
Okay.
But and again, this is I dabble in a lot of different things because I'm a very curious person. So what I would say would be to look into that for your bald friend. But also, there's a company called OneSkin
Okay.
that deals with senescent cells, which are basically zombie cells or dead cells that end up becoming a problem with baldness and other issues throughout the body. So OneSkin has really cracked the code on understanding what that's all about. So it's, you can use one of those derma rollers on your scalp and apply the ointment of OneSkin and be consistent for like, if a person can, for like 60 days and just watch what happens. I used it.
Okay, that's cool. He seems to be doing a lot of natural things, and he was definitely happy about that tallow. He thought the tallow and especially the emu oil might be helping.
Oil, amazing.
And he was also doing onion juice and all kinds of like natural remedies. I mean, I don't even know exactly how he's doing it, but allegedly his hair's growing back. And
Really?
part of the thing he wants to blame it on is that emu oil, but I'm sure I wonder if he's looked into OneSkin.
Oh, there you go.
All right. So simply walk the talk. You have the Vivo shoes and shirt on. You noticed my Vivos.
Yeah, the ones you have on used to be my favorite. Those are the Magna Lights. So that's the Magna Light that you have, and you can tell that those bad boys have been used.
Yeah.
And I have the all black version in that. It's amazing, incredible.
Okay.
The ones that I have on, since we're showing shoes,
I was like, we can do it.
Is called the Geo Court. Let's see if I can get the right angle. There we go.
I like that one. I think I've had that one. Maybe not that material. I like that one a lot.
Yeah, this is the one that I think crosses over very well with like everyday casual, like for practitioners, people who need to be in like a cleaner environment, if you will, a more buttoned up environment. These work well for that, but they also work very well for movement,
Yeah, I think I had a different fabric on those, but those are my style that I like the most.
Yeah.
Now, are you sponsored by Vivo, or do you have a partnership with them? How does this work?
So my first foray into Vivo Barefoot, actually probably one of my biggest, best certifications I ever went through was when I went through the barefoot coaching program for Vivo Barefoot back in like 2010.
I didn't even know they had that. Okay.
Yeah. And at that time, it was heavily reliant upon barefoot running, the style of barefoot running, because at that time, Born to Run, the book Born to Run by Chris McDougall.
Which that guy, what's the guy's name? The White Devil or whatever, the guy that's running in Mexico, the one that's all about. I forget his name. I might be thinking of Ace Ventura, the White Devil, but he was based in Boulder. I think his hometown was Boulder.
It's not the writer though, is it? Chris McDougall? It wasn't
whoever the mysterious guy was. It was always running with them.
Well, I know. I think Chris McDougall, the writer, I think he also went to go.
Yeah, he did, but there was some white guy that was down there with the tribe. Some old mysterious man. Yeah. Okay. Anyways, the little offshoot there, but I want to meet that guy. Yvel. Find that guy.
Let's see if we can find it. But during that time, everyone was talking about barefoot shoes, and then it obviously took a shift, right? Because that was when, I think shortly after that was when Vibram got sued.
Okay, yeah.
Because people were then, I think it was because of some of the claims they made about how this is going to fix you, which we all have to be mindful of. But Vivo Barefoot did a nice little pivot, and instead of just focusing on barefoot shoes for running or just barefoot shoes, they now have kind of opened up the entire, it's like a holistic brand now. And it's all about the barefoot lifestyle. So what we do, so part of my role is I lead education and coaching for the brand.
Okay.
And so that's why I'm here, because I go to speaking events, I do articles for them, I do content for them.
Education and what?
Education and coaching.
Coaching, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So we have a coaching program. We've got courses online. We've got a certification program that is fully accredited. Different trainers can become certified, but also get continuing education credits. And so the coaching side of it has always been the forefront, right? Like the education piece is what they use in terms of like advertising.
Yeah, that's really brilliant, actually.
Yeah. So it's really cool because I get to be at the forefront of it. And even though I've been a part of the brand since 2010, I just started working internally for the brand 2 years ago.
Okay.
So now We have a U.S. entity because it's a UK-based company. I don't know if you know that.
I thank you for reminding me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now, so we just opened up the U.S. branch, and the headquarters is in Austin.
Okay.
And we're focusing on 3 key cities to kind of roll out in a major way. And that is LA, Austin, and New York.
Okay.
I happen to live in New York. So
Yeah.
it's easy. And just for instance, I was just in Austin last week, all week, and we were just doing partner activations and events and pop-ups. And the community there is incredible. Community here is great, but Denver/Boulder will become a part of the second wave
Okay.
of key cities.
Well, I'll be happy to support it. I think it's the best shoe brand.
Thank you.
Let's support this opening in Austin in December.
In Austin?
Yeah.
Oh,
Studio in Austin.
oh, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm impressed by these shoes. I have kind of a flatter foot, wide foot, not a big arch, and most shoes don't work for me. These work really well for me. And I've tried 20 different pairs. What size do you wear?
12.
What is that in European?
45.
That's what I have. So
You can try mine on if you want.
what happened? Eagle McMahon.
Yes. Yeah.
So he's been on the show. He's a local here, and he has 45s too.
Perfect.
So I've
Perfect.
tried a lot through him. Like some of his used
Perfect.
shoes that are not working for him. I bartered Tribe vitamins for him.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Well,
So I'm
well,
like,
now you know me. I got you. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, I think it's a great shoe brand. And most of my friends too think the same thing. So, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And just to put a little pin in, or to wrap this whole piece up, and maybe we talk about it more, but part of what I try to talk about is it's less about selling shoes for me, right?
Mhm.
Obviously, the end result for the brand is to sell shoes, right? But for me, there's a couple things I like to talk about. And one, I say this all the time everywhere I go, is the best technology to go into a shoe is the human foot.
Mhm.
So if you think about that and you understand that, and for those who are listening and watching, you might rewind it back, but I'll say it again. The best technology to go into a shoe is the human foot. That should get people thinking in a way where questions come up. I love questions because I tend to have some sort of response, right? And it should get people to start thinking about strengthening the thing that we're born with, which is our body, right? And if we start relying on these amazing technologies that come out to get people to run faster and longer and things like that, sure, some of you who get paid to do that, to be in a Nike or an Adidas that has these, carbon plates in them so you can go faster and longer, okay, cool. But why are we doing this day in, day out, day in, day out? We're consistently in modern shoes constricting the foot, therefore not allowing the foot to be a foot. And it's no surprise that we have ankle problems, foot problems, knee problems, back problems, because it starts from the foot and works its way up the system. And then, so that's the constrictive part. But then if we talk about adding so much cushion on the bottom of the foot, people don't realize, they should know that 70% of our proprioceptive system come from the bottom of our feet. So every layer that you put beneath your foot separates you from the ground. It's not even talking about the grounding effect,
Yeah.
earthing effect, which is very important, which we do have earthing and grounding shoes.
You
Right?
what?
We do, yeah.
Okay.
So we'll get you on those too.
Yeah.
And I can talk days for that on that. But even just the figurative word around grounding, being grounded means being closer to the earth, being more balanced in your life. And then balance is also a literal and figurative speech as well, right? And I say this, I was saying this at the conference just earlier, that balance is fundamental to our ability to express athleticism and movement. So again, that's another one that people should think about, like, wait a minute. Balance is fundamental to our ability to express movement and athleticism. So, okay, not everybody considers himself to be an athlete, but I think we all are on the spectrum, right? Somewhere.
Mhm.
But even if you don't consider yourself an athlete, we all are movers. Our bodies, we are vibratory beings. We're energetic beings. All of this comes from moving. So I love doing conferences and challenging people to get out of the chair, sit on the floor. Because if you sit on the floor long enough in a certain position, what's going to happen? You move, right? And so we're in this modern society trying to figure out ways to move when really we should just be fidgeting as much as we can. But we're taught in school to quit fidgeting, right? And then we give chemicals to say, oh, you have ADHD because you move too much and you can't think, you can't focus. But our body is craving movement. So anyway, I can go on tangents.
Yeah, thank you. That was a beautiful tangent that I highly resonate with. And now you're making me think of people that have foot issues like my dad. My dad has a huge ass bunion. And I think it because of what you said. He grew up wearing shoes that crowded his feet. And now he's in a situation.
Yep.
Do you have any suggestions for someone with bunions?
1000% yes.
Okay, please.
Yes, because I myself,
Lava Rooney, listen.
I'm the guy that I'm sitting here now that I was very close. I made the call to get my initial assessment consultation for having bunion surgery.
I've heard
bunion surgery.
I've heard about these things.
Right? So I had them on both feet. Now, this didn't run in my family. This was, from the fact that I was a high-level athlete, am a high-level athlete, but back then I was really pushing the limits because I started in martial arts where most martial arts are barefoot, by the way. In fact, most complex sports domains are done barefoot. Think of things like ballet. And what I mean by barefoot doesn't always have to mean no shoes and no socks, but a very wide, thin, flexible shoe, right? So ballet, tightrope walking, martial arts, even boxing to a certain extent is a very low profile shoe, right? And then there's so many more that you can think of, but I started out like that. And then after I got my black belt at age 12, I then got into basketball and track and field. And it was the first time in my life that my feet were severely restricted, but I didn't know any better because I was the guy that was, looking to the Jordans that were out there and all the best shoes that were out there. And while it did help me in certain ways, because it's not natural to jump as much as I was jumping and landing and things like that. I just thought, like, when I was having heel pain, I now know that that was plantar fasciitis, but I just thought I needed more heel cushion. So I added more heel cushion, which then shortened my Achilles, which then shortens my calves, which then shortens my hamstrings. It causes things to go up the system. And it wasn't until I was in college amongst my last year or two, that I was noticing there was a lot of changes in my shoes. And I found myself trying to do whatever I could, but nobody was talking about that. This was, early 2000s. So nobody really that I was talking to knew much about the feet. And, I'm putting all these little like pads in there, but I kept on having problems. And so, fast forward to me moving to New York, I had a short time playing professionally overseas, basketball overseas.
Oh, wow. Which country?
I played in Qatar and I played in Mexico, in Cancun.
Wow.
Which was fun, probably too much fun, which is why I didn't last long there. Okay. But I found myself sitting on a subway car in New York and I see this advertisement that's, right in your face. And it's like, got bunions? Call. So I took down the number and I eventually made the call. And I forget what happened, but shortly thereafter, I didn't book an appointment. I think it was probably too expensive for me anyway. But shortly thereafter, I met some of the guys that were a part of Vivo Barefoot, and they were just making their entrance into the U.S. And I go and kind of see what they're talking about. And this guy by the name of Lee Saxby, he wanted to assess my running gait. Keep in mind, Born to Run was just out. So I thought, like, I'm a runner. I ran track. I know how to run, and I was born to run. We're all born to run. Little did I know that the shoes I was wearing was affecting my true ability to run. So if you watch, I don't know if you have kids, but I have 2 small kids, and I watch how they move. And they're usually really great at movement until they start doing what? Going to school, being told to sit still, sit into a chair 90 degrees at the hip, right? And then we start to put them in the nice, cute, fancy shoes that end up restricting their feet. So it's no surprise that we change how we move. So I come in with my Nike Air Maxes on because I'm like, yeah, we're about to go do some running. I'm gonna show this dude how I move, how I run. I'm a sprinter, you know, I know how to run. Puts me on a treadmill, and he's brilliant, by the way, in what he does. He puts me on a treadmill and just watches me. He says, okay, I want you to run. Just do your normal run. And he recorded it. I have this recording. I'll see if I can find it so we can put it up if we want.
That'd be awesome.
But I'm doing my run, and he's like, okay, now what I want you to do is take your shoes off. I'm like, what? Yeah, take your shoes off. And I want to give you a few cues here and there. And then let's reassess. And it's like night and day. And I felt way better. I realized that I was overstriding. I was heel striking, because you can heel strike when you have cushion on the heel, because your body's not getting that signal, that check engine light, right? But if you ask anybody to take off their shoes and socks, I'm not saying it automatically corrects, but you're going to get more of that signal to tell your body this is not natural, right? And so I started to learn that if you have the right posture, which is an upright posture, you have the right rhythm or cadence, which is about 180 beats per minute, beep, 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 and then you relax your system, then running becomes something that we should all be able to do. And I teach this now. I mean, this is a part of what I do all the time, but I was literally just teaching a bunch of physicians on the stage just now. But I do it in a way where they don't think that we're about to run. But I don't know, did you see it? Did you watch it? So I get people hopping up and down. Then I say, listen, no one ever in the history of me teaching have I ever seen anyone hop on their heels. It's just, it doesn't happen, whether you have shoes on or not, okay? Then I ask them to be upright and to go a little bit faster. That's the rhythm and cadence part of it. And then you start seeing people like, oh, wow. Because you can't, it's hard to hop in correctly if you're going quick enough. And the reason for that is because the ground reaction force doesn't have enough time to fully manifest into the body. So then I get them to just relax. And then I have them go through a sequence of hopping on one foot, because running is a series of 1 foot hops. So what is hopping? What you all just did. Hop, 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 hop. What is 1 foot hopping? Hop, 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 hop. You do that enough times back and forth on each side, eventually you're running in place. And so I said, now for all of those people out there that were told don't run or you can't run, have you tried it like this? And then I encourage people to transition slowly, but start by running in place. I call it spot running. Run in place barefoot for 5 minutes. See how you feel. Then build up to 10 minutes, eventually 15 minutes. And then tell me that you're not a runner. Wow. Because literally at that point, you just shift at the hips, at the belly button, shift, propel through the foot if your foot is good enough, so on and so forth. So yeah, I don't know how we got on that, but
I think I do. And I'm sure people are going to want to learn more. What's the best place to learn more about what you just said and or follow you?
Good question. So all of my social media handles is at Joshua J. Holland.
Okay.
Last name is like the country, Holland.
Okay.
So Joshua J. Holland, you can find me on Instagram. You can find me on all the social media platforms. Also, I do a fair amount of discussion around these things on my podcast, Simply Walk the Talk. Same thing. Everything is Simply Walk the Talk. And then I actually have a barefoot running guide on the Vivo Barefoot website.
Oh, okay.
So there's a running guide. If you go into the section that is, I think it's Why Barefoot. And then in there at the bottom, there's courses. Then you'll see my lower legs in the nice Primal Flow. It's our running shoe that we just came out with. You'll see me there on the running guide. You can click on that and you can kind of dive into a lot of that stuff. Or you can just follow me on social media and you'll see the little things that I put out. But yeah, I think I even have the spot running thing. I have like 2 versions of that on my Instagram somewhere. So we can link to that too.
Awesome. Yeah, we'll include the appropriate links in the description. Man, I still have like 1,000 questions and we're only a half an hour in. All right, great. Okay. Wow. Where are you from? Like with your background and your ethnicity, is that?
Okay, good question. So I'm originally from Oklahoma. Yeah. So
Surprise. Which town?
A small town called Chandler, Oklahoma.
Chandler. You know, that was funny. My old roommate, we gotta get him on a podcast. He was on the podcast. Matt Chandler.
I know Matt.
He's from Oklahoma.
I know Matt and his
Stephanie.
ex.
Yeah, we used to all live together.
Yeah.
Oh no,
his ex, Courtney.
Courtney.
Yeah. know them very well.
Oh,
In
okay.
fact, when the one time that I came here was with Matt and Courtney.
Well,
Yeah.
I knew there was the synchronicities never end.
Isn't it crazy?
Okay, so you're from Chandler, Oklahoma. I don't think Matt was from Chandler, Oklahoma.
No, he's not from
That is
Chandler.
his last name.
No. Yeah, the population of Chandler, Oklahoma is approximately 3,000 people.
Okay.
And what's funny about that is where I live in New York City in Harlem, I think there's about that many people in my building, definitely in my complex.
Whoa.
Right?
That's
And
wild.
So to kind of go from this small town, very small town, to this big city, and then, you pointed out earlier about how you've been to 20 plus countries. I've been to damn near every state in America, but I've been to 52 countries, and I have a goal of getting to 100 before I kick the bucket, as they say.
52 countries. What a cool number.
Yeah.
And you have 2 kids. How old are the kids? You said they were young.
My daughter just turned 4.
Okay.
Her name is Zia Rose. And my son is 6.5, and his name is Zane J, which is my middle name, J. So most people, they say, okay, Joshua J. Holland, what is your middle name? Like, it's J. Yeah, but what does the J stand for? J. J-A-Y, right? But my handle is just the middle initial, so Joshua J. Holland. Anyway, coming from Oklahoma and going to New York has been fantastic, man. To be able to kind of, I grew up with not a lot of money. I mean, was definitely on welfare, financially poor, but rich in love and support, which is why I love being able to share any experiential wisdom I might have, but also to be able to help people along the way, which is why when Yovel came up to me and said, I want to do this, want to do that, I got you, bro. Because people have helped me along the way, I want to continue to help others any way I can. And whether you believe in karma or just doing right by people, I wholeheartedly support all of that. And so, why withhold anything that I can? If it can help someone live a better life, then I'm here to share. That's why I'm here. Yeah.
Well, I love that. Boomer said something about the Filipino Dr.
Ted Achikoso.
Dr. Ted. When he first met him, and y'all, I really recommend listening to the previous episode, but he told me the story, and there was something in the story that really struck me, which was he asked Dr. Ted, like, how can I learn from you? And to me, you're doing something similarly profound. It's like that question, almost the how can I support you, seems to be like, is that possibly one of the guiding questions of your life?
1,000%.
And you're taking action. You're walking the talk. Because some people just say that.
Bingo. Like, I mean, Yovel can attest to it, but it's like, I want to do whatever I can. I mean, I got asked to come here. I didn't get paid to come here. And, shout out to Vivo Barefoot for paying for me to fly here to do this conference. But it's like, I'll do whatever I can to support, because I know that I'm going to have some sort of an impact on somebody, even if it's just one person. And me sharing what I do helps support. And you saw, like, right when I was trying to leave to come here, I get hit up by 2 different people, because I said on the stage, if anyone has any questions or concerns, come and find me. So what am I going to do when they come and find me, even though I need to leave to come here? Do I say, oh, I can't? No, I'm going to sit and talk to them for a minute, And it's because I had that in my life, and there's so many people out there that are looking for help, but maybe in the only way they know how, which is take, but never give. So if I can be a guiding light in that lane, then that's what I want to do. I'm showing up to do that.
Well, I resonate with that a lot. And that's one of the reasons I love doing this podcast, because I do believe it supports the person that I'm interviewing. I believe it supports Yovel and Let's Do Podcast. And I believe it supports anyone who listens to it. And I believe it supports me.
Yeah.
But because it's so supportive to everyone else that's involved, like almost a guarantee, then I'm just like, yeah. He texted me, I think, a few hours ago, and I'm like, yes, let's do this.
Which is dope. And the fact that we were already following each other, right? Which is kind of cool too,
Awesome. I have some preloaded questions as I've been doing the last like 15, 20 episodes. It's been pretty effective. They're like meant to be answered in a minute or less.
Oh boy.
Like kind of like popcorn style.
That's hard for me, but it's okay. I like a challenge.
Oh, and before we do that, you were asked like, you don't know how we got there. I think I was asking you about bunions.
We didn't address
Is
it.
there literal,
Okay.
literal
I'll be quick.
things that someone can start with?
I'll be quick. Yes. One is we shouldn't expect our foot to change or any part of our body to change if we don't work it. Two, activating our toes as much as possible. There's a thing called toga or toe yoga. You can look up online or follow my journey online. And it's very simple, like just lifting your toes, crunching your toes, rolling them under, flexing them as much as possible, but just getting a lot of movement throughout your toes. That's the active way of doing it. And then wearing toe spacers. There's lots out there, but that's a more passive way of creating that postural alignment to try to realign it. But keep in mind, that's passive. So the moment you take it off, if you haven't supported your foot in the right ways by strengthening it, then you shouldn't expect for it to stay spread open, right? And then looking into barefoot shoes, right? Because we know we need to have protection against the elements, so we can't expect everybody to go outside barefoot, but we certainly shouldn't be wearing shoes indoors, whether it's a barefoot shoe or not, right? So spend as much time as you can barefoot, period. Then when you can't be barefoot, be Vivo Barefoot. Ding! Right?
I agree. And my dad has a pretty big foot. I think he's like, we used to get like special shoe stores. What is it, like size 14? Do y'all do those?
Oh yeah, we go up to online 15.
Okay, 15. I
We
think,
go
I
up to
think they got
15.
you, Bob. I think they got you.
Yeah, and what's interesting about that question is what we notice most of the time. So if he falls in between sizes, since we do whole sizes only on the Vivo Barefoot platform, most of the times when a person falls in between sizes, we ask them to size down, especially if they're used to wearing conventional shoes. The reason for that is because the moment a person who's been wearing conventional shoes for their whole life, when they go into a barefoot shoe with a wide toe box, they think it's too big because their body is used to being constricted. So when you can actually splay it, it's like, wait a minute, why do I have so much room in the shoe? Well, that's the point.
Yeah, because you said a 45 is equivalent to a 12.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think in regular shoes I wear a 12 and a half.
There you go.
And
There you go.
The Vivos I wear a 45, aka 12.
There you go. To be fair, going back on what I said about the half sizes, we do, for some odd reason, make a 12 and a half. But you wear 12s because that's that whole notion of sizing down, right? Because it's good. And then also sometimes people will notice that over time, I think who was I just talking to? I forget who I was just talking to, but they were saying that he was surprised that it's Patrick Gilbert. Shout out to Patrick Gilbert, who's one of the coaches for the Indiana Pacers.
Okay.
So we work with a lot of NFL, NBA, NHL guys, and I just had a call with him earlier with my buddy Philip, and he was saying that he normally wears a size 10 in conventional shoes. When he started working with us, he was wearing a 9, but because his foot has gotten stronger, I think it's been like a little over a year now, but because his foot has gotten stronger and his toes are starting to spread more, he's now realizing that he might need to go up. So he's been wearing 10s now. There's a little bit more room in there, but we have little ways of kind of mitigating that issue if it's too big. So you can add a sole into it. If it's too small, too tight, you can take the sole out. You can wear thicker socks. Mind you, I'm one, because I get this question a lot. Do you wear socks with barefoot shoes? Absolutely yes, but not conventional socks. I don't wear constrictive socks because what's the point of having a wide toe box if your toes are still constricted by the sock?
So what sock are you wearing?
Toe socks.
So you are what? Give me the recommendation for toe socks.
There
Is
you
this a
go.
Vivo thing or not? Do they have them or not?
Not yet.
I actually I've been meaning to buy some toe socks. So please.
Okay. Well,
I
that's
have
another.
these like thick wool socks on.
That's what I have on. I have wool toe socks.
Okay. Wow.
so-
wow.
The brand that I have on, I'll show you. I'll take
You
my
might-
shoes off.
Now this is an aligned sponsor potential here.
Yeah.
Lots of them.
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, 'cause these
So this
toe
is
socks, I'm
one of the best that I have found, and it's called Toby. You see that on there? Toby, and it's a
Alright.
toe sock,
Wow.
80% wool, which is one of the highest. Sorry if my feet stink, but
I didn't.
that's the wool.
I just started doing low mouth breathing for a moment.
There you go. So I found that there was a gap in the market, and I've been a fan of Injinji for a long time. Are you familiar with Injinji?
No.
So there's a lot of companies out there that make toe socks, right? So Injinji is one of the main ones that I've used them for a long time. No sponsorship, no affiliation with them. I just happen to like their socks because I was a fan of toe socks. I understood it because for a while before my foot got really strong and a little bit more robust, I was wearing toe spacers in my barefoot shoe.
I've thought about doing that.
And so you can't do that with regular socks, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not the one that's wearing no socks in my shoes because, the sweat and the things like that. It's just not ideal. So I was kind of looking around to see, okay, Vivo Barefoot is a very good company. Like working with them, as long as I've worked with them, I've understood sustainability, eco-friendly sustainability. That's what they're all about. They're a B Corp, right? And so that means there's like so many checks and balances that have to happen to get the shoe to the eventual customer, right? And so even this shirt that I'm wearing, it's a Vivo shirt, but if you notice, it's 100% organic cotton.
Really? That's a good looking shirt.
Yeah. And all of their products. So it's what I love about Vivo is that you can go online and basically anything that is sold by Vivo Barefoot or promoted by Vivo Barefoot most likely is going to be very aligned with how I feel when it comes to sustainability and health, right? And so I found that there was not a lot of like organic, eco-friendly solutions in the toe sock world, so I created one.
That's your brand.
Yeah,
let's go.
Yeah, so we haven't launched yet, but I got you. Trust me, I got you.
Especially because they're the same size, so
yeah,
perfect.
Exactly. Yeah. So I'm trying to figure out like the best way to put it out there, but I do know that Vivo Barefoot very soon will be coming out with a Tabi sock because we're coming out with a Tabi shoe.
Tabi.
Tabi, which is a split toe. The big toe is separate from the small toes.
Like Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So I've been a fan of Tabis since I was a little boy because of martial arts. Because the ninjas in ninjutsu, they would wear those like, they call them Tabi boots.
Wow.
So I used to have Tabis. I loved it. Ninja Turtles, I was a huge fan. I used to draw the Ninja Turtles.
Wow.
So
who was your favorite?
Ooh, good question. I would probably have to say Donatello because I used the bow staff a lot in martial arts, but I also like Michelangelo because he was the jokester, and I'm a bit of a jokester. I was a class clown, but I was also one of the smartest students as well. So I kind of resonate between both of those. And then obviously I resonate very well with Leonardo because he was the leader, but I don't always have to see myself as a leader. So first and foremost, my first one was Donatello, and then that's why I took up bow staff. Then Michelangelo because of the funness around him, But yeah, I do. My brother, I have an older brother, Mario Holland. Shout out Mario. He's an amazing photographer and media guy. He's doing a lot of stuff in Oklahoma City. And then we have an older half brother. His name is Eric. And, throughout the years, so he is older because he came about before my dad married my mom.
Okay.
And, so we weren't as close because we didn't spend a lot of time together. There was a small period of time where he did live with us. But that just didn't work out. And my father has since passed away, but we have now gotten a little bit closer because of that. Right. So in this hardship of death and things like that, there is a beauty around that, so we've gotten closer. It's not ideal because you don't just automatically become close after all these years, but I can only imagine what he felt throughout his life because he came into a complete nuclear family system, but then got taken out of it because of the jealousy of his mother, who didn't want him to be raised by our mother. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I can only imagine what that feels like. And so I try my best to stay connected as best I can. but it's difficult. You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, like I've got my own family. I've got my own kids live across the world. And so
Wait, where you're?
they live. Oh, I didn't tell you this. Yeah, they live in Hungary. They used to live in Budapest, but yeah, they're in Zalaegerszeg, which is, try to say that. I just say Zala now. But yeah, they live in with my ex in Hungary, and I visit them every other month. So I go about 6 or 7 times a year. Sometimes they come to the States, but because they're small, and also they live in absolute perfection of nature and community. So why would I be selfish to want to pull them out of that just because I want to see them and I want to have them in New York City of all places? No.
Wow. So you do international co-parenting?
Absolutely.
So do I.
Yeah.
I do too.
Or your kids, or your kid.
My daughter's here in Colorado. Her mom lives in Denmark.
Boy, I know Denmark pretty well. Interesting.
Do you like Denmark?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, what is the capital of Denmark?
Copenhagen.
Yeah. Copenhagen.
Good. Let's not get down.
Yeah. I mean, I like Europe. I do like Europe. Obviously, there's some major differences, but I've had the great fortune of being able to travel around the world, which is how my kids came about, right? Like traveling, meeting my ex.
She's from Hungary?
She is German and Hungarian. So her father is Hungarian, her mother is German. So my son was actually born in Germany, in Dusseldorf.
Wow.
And my daughter was born in Budapest.
Wow.
And yeah.
What's their mom's name?
Steffi.
Wow.
Yeah.
My mouth is still blue.
Is mine?
Yeah. What does methylene blue do for the skin? Now you can see my ADHD mind. I went back to the very first thing.
I'm here for it, man.
Just now.
I'm here for it.
How long? 45 minutes later, I went to the very first thing.
Look, at the end of the day, methylene blue is great for inflammation, so it's like an anti-inflammatory. It's an oxygen donor. It helps the mitochondria to do what it needs to do, period, point blank. And so all of our processes, right? The mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. We all heard this in science in school. And so in order for our body to do what it needs to do, the mitochondria needs to be optimized, and methylene blue helps to do that.
Even through the skin?
Well, of course.
Man, that's awesome.
I mean, because it's like I don't think...
try it. How blue? Why is your skin not so blue then?
Because it's a great question. So it's not the same concentration of what we put here, right? Okay. So like in our mouth, and you probably have the blue pee and things like that, depending on how much you take. Do you have blue urine?
I have tried a sample from Dr. Scott when I first interviewed him, and then Boomer hooked me up with a bunch of stuff yesterday. So yeah, I took it yesterday and today, a half of the carnitine.
Half of a troche. Blue carnitine is my favorite.
Yeah, so I took a half yesterday and a half today.
Okay. So have you noticed
blue
pee?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, right away.
So I was talking to Alan, who's an ER doctor that's a part of the Prescriptions and the Home Hope group. Brilliant. And we were literally just talking about this earlier, but there's certain processes and reasons why one might develop more blue urine versus another. And it just depends on the load, the antioxidant or the free radical load in the body. And so I like to talk about, I was one of the ones to bring up this fact that I noticed, because I'm very aware of my body. I think we should all be very aware of our own bodies. But when I work out hard and I take blue carnitine, half a troche, I notice way less blue urine, way less. But if I take a half a troche for the cognitive benefits, like say doing a podcast or whatever, and by the way, you can just swallow it, but if you want a quicker effect to the brain, you hold it in the buccal sac, the upper lip. But if I don't do much activity with it, then I tend to have more blue.
Interesting.
Yeah, wow. So there's different reasons for that. And then the concentrations of the products that have methylene blue for the skin is way less. I don't know what the milligram is, and then even can it be consistent through each scoop of the finger? But like you might notice my nails are a little bit bluish. It probably looks dirty.
Very slightly.
it might, like this one probably looks a little dirty.
I mean,
That's from
you have nice, healthy looking nails.
you.
I mean, nails are a nice indication of health, I believe.
Absolutely.
That's one thing when I take the tribe vitamins, especially the organ capsules we have. That's the one side effect that's like a slightly annoying. I'm not complaining about it, but my nails grow so fast. I'm cutting my nails like crazy.
Bingo, though. That is what we call biofeedback, right? If you're doing something and then you notice that there's a benefit or not, right? Like if something bad is happening or something
like
good is
acid
happening.
reflux from canola oil.
Right.
I get acid reflux from canola oil.
Well, I mean,
and I get longer, stronger, faster growing nails from tribe vitamins.
Well, there you go. Right. So it's like that is biofeedback, right? But a person needs to be very in tune with their body to know those subtle changes. So I get excited when I cut my nails. I agree with you.
It's a little tongue in cheek.
No, but I know.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying, because it's like, okay, I got to get the right. But I always almost like say like this bit of a gratitude prayer to myself when I do that, because I know my body's responding to whatever it is I'm doing.
Well, thank you for reframing that.
Yeah.
You know, I had one of the biggest pet peeves of my life that I had a really hard time overcoming was flies. Like, I didn't like flies landing on me or my food. And then have you ever heard of the assault gun? The assault gun.
Yes. Yeah.
You load like this shotgun thing with salt. And they blast those flies, and all that's left is salt on the ground. I have dogs, and my dogs like get involved. I'll shoot a fly in the fly, and then my dog will eat it, and it's like all salty. And I'm like, this is great. So
I've only seen videos of that.
Yeah, it's fun. Yeah, but you reframe my nails. I'm gonna start saying a prayer of gratitude when I cut my nails.
You want something super esoteric when it comes to that? Because I thought you were gonna. Where you were going with the salt gun and the flies, I thought you were about to get on this. I was like, oh, my boy's with it. Have you heard the notion? Because I get annoyed by mosquitoes.
Okay.
I mean,
yeah, we don't deal with much here in Boulder.
Okay, good.
If you go up in the mountains at certain times, maybe.
Well, I'm sure they will find me.
Okay.
And I used to try to biohack what that was. And if you go online or you ask ChatGPT, if you do that, there's all these reasons why it might be like a surplus in sugar in the body, in the blood, or a lack of like certain like vitamins, like B vitamins and things like that. There's all these different things. I've tried a lot of it, but I saw this reel that was talking about the fact that, bear with me, okay? aliens have programmed certain mosquitoes, or mosquitoes were produced by aliens, apparently.
Or Bill Gates.
Right? To try to disrupt those with the highest frequency. So I've reframed what I think about mosquitoes wanting to eat me. Now, I'm not saying that like I allow them to bite me or whatever, right? Yeah. I don't welcome them.
Yeah.
But when I do see them on me, I go, good luck trying to disrupt this system. It's not happening. Yeah, it's not happening. I know it's crazy, right? It's crazy. That's how these are the things I do. Imagine being at my place, now you can be in my inner circle, but if you ever come to New York, come to my place, and we have, me and my group of friends, we have the most profound conversations, from aliens to sex to nutrition to shoes. And it's not like we're in an echo chamber. I mean, I've had some very hard-hitting conversations with my friends, but like, isn't that the point? Shouldn't we be able to talk about what we feel, even if it's about religion? I was talking to Yovel on the way here about certain things that, like, it's like, shouldn't we just be more open? I mean, I think the world is, by design, creating more division and more division, more division, to eventually do what? Who knows? But if you don't allow that, and if you can just be open-hearted and allow people to express themselves, then maybe it goes back to that supporting thing, the supporting question. Maybe we can have people listen a little bit more, maybe ask those questions. And maybe it doesn't happen instantaneously, but maybe at some point down the line, it might be like, hey, man, why don't you tell me a little bit more about those shoes? Or why don't you tell me a little bit more about the tallow? Right? So yeah, ponder that.
Yeah, that's part of what we're doing here. So I appreciate your time and your attention and your presence and your eloquent communication. Are you ready to try to do like 10 questions in 10 minutes?
Let's try it.
All righty
Who's
then.
the timer? You got the timer?
Well, maybe I'll start giving like a little signal when there's like 10 seconds left because I have a pretty good intuitive 1 minute timer.
We'll see.
You ready?
Yeah.
What's a moment when your body taught you more truth than any book or biohack ever could?
I just recently did a thing called Air Libre Adventure, which was a hiking adventure in the backcountry of Canada near Whistler. And this was 2-3 weeks ago. I had a spiritual awakening and my ego was shattered because I thought that I mean, I'm an athlete. I am a biohacker. I do all the things. I was on that mountain and it was as if I'm a speck of sand in this universe. Similar thing happened to me with this group in which I did a psychedelic experience for a week. Similar experience. One was less physical. The other was more physical, but a similar experience. So ego death by doing something super challenging.
It's interesting. You know, the place that gives me that experience the most of feeling extremely small is New York.
Yeah.
Going to New York, all of a sudden, I'm like, what am I?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know, the notion of if you can make it in New York, you can make it anywhere, right? So there you go. I've been there for almost 22 years.
All right.
Is that less than one?
That was that. I think it was about 48 seconds.
Okay. Put that out of his head.
If you could download one experience into every human being to raise collective awareness, what would it be?
Oh, psychedelics. I would say, I think, yeah, I'll just say it because I mean, surely there's going to be people who challenge it, and that's fine. But I would say everyone should do at least one psychedelic journey. Mushrooms, I think mushrooms is probably the easiest one because you can titrate it and do all the things. But that was one of the experiences that truly allowed me to understand a bit more of why I'm here, what I'm supposed to do in this life, and just how connected we all are. I mean, I got this true experience of we are one. And so what good does it do if I shit on someone else? Because at the end of the day, we are one. So I'm also shitting on myself.
This is a little taboo, but I've thought about that myself in so many different contexts. One being how murder is suicide and vice versa.
Ooh, deep. Ooh.
No, people might not want to think about it in that context.
Deep,
but...
bro. Deep. Yeah, clip that. Clip that. That's deep. I like that.
You reminded me of someone that might be in New York that believes in psychedelics. Dr. Carl Hart. Is he in New York?
Of course. Well, he's on a different type of psychedelics, but yes, he's very much into psychedelics, but he's the one that microdoses heroin.
Have you met him by chance?
I haven't.
He seems like he's a breaking normal fellow. I'd love to interview.
He's got locks. He's another lock brother.
Yeah, I think he's thinking about you in New York talking about psychedelics all of a sudden. And I think Boomer brought him up yesterday. Okay, ready for number 3?
I am.
What's one healthy trend that's actually disconnecting people from their bodies? And healthy, like.
Ooh, that's a hard one because, yeah, I guess you have to say it with healthy, right? That's disconnecting people from their body. GLP-1 agonists, maybe. I mean, it's the first one that comes to mind if we're just spitfiring answers here. And let me add to that. And biohacking. I think when we rely on technology, and keep in mind, this is someone who's known as a health coach or a health optimization coach and a biohacker. But when we rely on technology to heal us, then we take autonomy away from us. That's the disconnect. So.
Amen to that.
How am I doing on these spitfires, right?
Great. No timer needed.
No timer needed.
How do you personally measure alignment? Not with data, but with feeling.
That's an easy one. Yovel got a chance to see it earlier, but I do a balance assessment every single day, and I take people through it as a part of my coaching and training and things like that. But it's a very simple balance assessment. I presented it as a challenge on Instagram. You can find it if you're so inclined. It literally just says, I think, balance and stability, or balance and mobility challenge, or something like that. And it's basically standing on one foot with your knee, the other knee raised, and you have to go through a series of movements. It takes about 90 seconds on one side, so it's a total of about 3 minutes. And everyone that does it is surprised.
I'm excited to find that. Maybe we can include that, the balance link, the balance challenge link.
Yeah,
because I want
either on
try
my
this.
Instagram or my YouTube.
All right. That's that sounds really wise.
Yeah, it's interesting because you don't need data, right? The data is the biofeedback, which is what I was talking about before. And I talk a lot about, I'll stop here, but there's what we call the unconscious competence feedback model, or feedback loop. And that's what we call biofeedback as well. So when you get exposed to the fact that you're doing something incorrectly, that's when you become conscious of your incompetence. And then eventually you want to get to unconscious competence. And that's one of the ways to do that.
That's that's a good thing to look into, what he's just talked about right there. And it can take someone into deep waters.
For sure.
Speaking of deep waters, you've trained world-class athletes and artists. What's something their success taught you about energy, rhythm, or embodiment?
Consistency. Some of the biggest names in the world I've had the great fortune of being able to work with, and all of them have some level of determination and consistency. I'm not saying that they all do it well and they all do it the same, but I think a lot of them also ask good questions because they actually care, not because they're trying to challenge me. Maybe it is because they're trying to challenge me, but some of the people that I work with could work with anyone in the world. And anyone in the world would probably love to want to work with some of these people. They choose to work with me because I'm willing to let you know if I don't know what I'm talking about. But most likely, because I have a badass network and group of people that I work with, we support each other. If I don't know it, if I don't have experience in it, surely someone in my group does. And so I don't have the ego of saying, well, if I bring this person in, then they're going to want to work with him or her. Hey, if that's the case, because I'm not here to hold your hand for the rest of your life. I'm here to be a guide to get you where you need to go. And then let's check back in, you know?
Once again, I just keep seeing this frame from you that it's like, what can I give instead of what can I get?
Yeah.
It seems to be a good biohack. All right. What's one biohack that transformed your spirit more than your body?
I guess we'd have to define what is a biohack, because if I'm being honest, the first thing that came to mind is grounding. That was literally the first thing that came to my mind. So I guess I'll go with that. Because it allowed me, when I first kind of came across the idea of earthing or grounding, I realized just how connected we are or can be, but just how disconnected we are from the earth. There's an endless amount of energy that comes in the form of electrons from the core of the earth and the way that the earth moves and things like that. And I never considered it until I understood grounding.
But I don't know what my answer to the question would be, but that's possibly my answer too. I agree. There is something about the idea. Someone presented the idea of being barefoot, like, whatever about an idea. And then I started practicing it and I'm like, yeah, what did I obviously forgot something. And now I've remembered. Thank you for the reminder.
Yeah. Anytime.
Yeah. And reminding y'all, get your feet on the earth, go hug a tree, get in the creek. When do you need to go climb a tree?
Yeah.
All right. When you strip away the tech, the trackers, the science, what's left of true health?
Nature. I mean, it's like, I think nature is our greatest biohack. Nature is everything. So I feel like modern tech and today's conventional world is trying to duplicate or trying to be better than nature, and it's not possible. Because nature is raw and real, and with this modern tech we can tweak things, we can do this, we can do that, but if shit hit the fan tomorrow and we had to all of a sudden survive in the wild for whatever reason. Those who have been in touch with nature and have experienced nature in the right ways and have worked on themselves and worked on their community, you know who's been doing the real work, because those are the ones who really survive and then end up populating the future generations.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I have so much to say about that. I do believe that every technology that we see outside ourselves is a reflection of a technology that we already have within us. And yeah, I do believe we're not going to beat nature.
No way. No way.
Okay, speaking of the inner nature, if the body is the antenna of the soul, what frequency are most people in today?
Well, I mean, I think it's a loaded question. But what comes to mind is that we are on a low frequency, whatever that means to you, a low frequency. So a low frequency, which is analogous to vibration, right? So there's low vibration, high vibration. I know it gets very woo-woo, but I do have some biohacking tools that can test your voltage, can test your vibration. So, those parts of our body that have pathology, those parts of our body that are in pain, typically have a low voltage or a low frequency. So you can use certain tools like grounding or other biohacking tools to help raise that vibration. So pulsed electromagnetic frequency is what the Earth's core is emitting, but then we have technology to try to reproduce that. So you can titrate it. You can, take it up, take it down based on what we've done to our body. But if we were all vibrating at a high frequency, we maybe wouldn't need as much of that today. So, but maybe the reliance on this modern tech is causing us to be in a low vibration when we don't have that, right? So I think it's a catch-22. It's a little bit of a pull, like a yin and yang. But yeah, I would say that we should do as much as we can to meditate, to understand how our bodies and our brains operate, and then get in touch with our community. I think what people are lacking today is physical touch with people who are vibrating at a high frequency. Because if you get a bunch of physical touch with people who are vibrating at a low frequency, this is when you see problems, right? When you go and you drink at a bar, you think you're raising your vibration or lowering it? Chances are you're lowering it. Why do we see so many bar fights? Why do we see so many problems when people are around alcohol? One of the reasons why I'm a huge fan of plant medicine, cannabis, so on and so forth, is because if done right and done in the right way, the right set and setting, it can be used to help elevate the frequency. So you don't typically see a bunch of people in what do they call them? The shops in cafe in Amsterdam.
Yeah,
you don't see a lot of people fighting.
Yeah,
right?
Or people scared of a fight.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like, bro, chill.
Yeah.
And like I don't want to get down the path of like the tropes and the stereotypes of a weed head and a pothead or whatever, because it's like there's so many different like coffee and like so many other compounds out there. There's different strains and ways of consuming and things like that. And I'm not saying that's the answer for everyone, but the answer for everyone should be get more in tune with ourselves so that we can then have the capacity to be more in tune with our environment and those around us.
Rasta, thank you for being here, Josh. I have one more question for you. Do you have a question for me? We're our creative constraint of time is about to hit.
I have plenty of questions for you, but maybe we save that for my podcast.
Let's do it. I'd
Yeah.
love to be on the show. I love walking the talk.
I really, and I'm not just saying this, but I really like your line of questioning. I think it takes a certain type of person to be able to pull out these things, and you do it very well. So kudos to you on that, man.
Wow. Now you're making me want to ask a really quick normal questions like what's your favorite food, movie, and book?
Should I answer it?
Yeah.
My favorite food?
Movie and book.
Favorite cuisine, maybe? Because
Okay,
I don't really
let's
have
go.
a favorite food, I don't think. It's hard to even say a favorite cuisine, but I will say Thai food.
Okay.
And there's a lot of reasons why, because I love the Thai culture. I love Thai massage. I love Thai food. And I've never been to Thailand.
My daughter's a quarter Thai.
Yeah?
Quarter Thai, quarter Danish.
Well, there you go.
Half me, Jewish, and whatever else I am.
Interesting. Okay. Movie?
Yeah.
Man, that's
You could just throw
what genre?
Throw one out there.
Only the Strong.
I don't know if I've even seen that.
Okay, good. Do some research on
Great.
that. It's a martial arts movie.
Okay.
It reminds me of my childhood. It's a movie that I think helped shape me and my brother Mario. It shaped our childhood. Only the Strong.
Wow.
It's amazing. Book. I'll go with maybe the most recent one I've read, which is because I read a lot of books.
Okay.
That comes to mind. Do I say it? Okay. Ballistic.
And finally,
No. Let me change it. The Comfort Zone.
Comfort Zone.
With Michael Easton.
Comfort Crisis?
Comfort Crisis.
Comfort Crisis.
That's more encompassing.
I'm going to make Yovel mad and ask you the last one. If you could whisper one sentence into your ear of your younger self, what would it be?
Keep crushing life.
Definitely with that big smile too.
Yeah.
All right. Keep crushing life. Keep breaking normal. They got to go. Keep glowing and growing with the flow, y'all. Peace.
Walk the talk, talking facts. Move like me, but I move a little fast. Make my move, here to last. Fasten these seatbelts, I'm coming past. Take care of me, longevity. Hack my biology, better believe. Walking the talk, soul, mind, and body connected. Better come give us a listen. Better come give us a minute or two. Open the box up, we giving you tools. Giving your engine the fuel that it needs. Breathing into it, it's autoimmune. Make a connection, we're stronger in two. Making us one of a kind of a few. Work on the mind, but show me your moves. If you do what you say, you know what to do. Yeah.
Walk the talk.